Welcome to the Dawgs Fantasy Football Podcast with your hosts, Justin Charles and Josh All.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Dawgs Fantasy Football Podcast. We just wrapped up our Cleveland Browns podcast, which has us not in the best mood. So we're excited to talk about fantasy football, some exciting stuff, positive things, although there were some bad things that happened to some players this week. We'll get into it all. But I guess last week I said I was going to be on vacation this week. Got a sick kid at home, so we did not go to the beach. Unfortunately, that trip has now been canceled, and so we're in studio. We're doing podcasts. No place I'd rather be.
More positive.
Who needs the beach?
More positivity here. We're just going to keep this rolling.
If a swear word or two or several drop out during this episode, sorry, we were just in that mindset from the last podcast. And
sorry about that.
No, it's all good. It was my fault. So let's dive in here to some fancy stuff. Before we do, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe on YouTube, tap that notification bell so you don't miss anything new. And I think today we're just going to recap, kind of like we have been, recap what went on around the league in week 4, talk about some early waiver wire stuff that you guys might want to be looking into this week, maybe some buy low, sell high kind of trade options, to be thinking about to improve your team. And we'll go through it all and see how long it takes. So did you have anywhere you wanted to start?
No, not really. I mean, do we want to start with maybe, I don't know, whatever you want to do, bro?
Well, let's first of all talk about the Chiefs. I guess we'll just do some of that news.
Yeah.
Have you gotten the notification yet as to what?
All I know is I watched the video of it. It's bad.
Gross,
bro.
man.
It's bad. It's a bad knee injury.
Patrick Mahomes double effed himself big time in this game. So he throws an interception, and then upon trying to go make the tackle on the guy who picked him off, he instead tackled his number one receiver in the knee.
Almost like a torpedo move, dog.
Yeah, like bent it backwards.
That's bad.
And team, I mean, it's been all but confirmed. Rashee Rice, who was just tearing it up this year, leading in targets, receptions, yards, everything for the Chiefs, yards after catch, probably torn ACL, probably just completely destroyed knee. Good times.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah.
For an offense that was already struggling.
Yeah, I've watched them a few times now. It's
not what they used to be.
No.
It's not what they used to be at all. I mean, I think Travis Kelce had a little better game in this one. So it's about, finally, if you invested in him, you got a little something back.
I mean, they got to throw it to somebody.
They do. And I mean, Xavier Worthy's still a young rookie, and I know he's a good route runner and things like that, but he's still, at this point in his NFL career, he's kind of a one-trick pony. Like he's a speedster, he's a burner.
Yeah.
And they're trying to ease him into the offense, and Rashee Rice was kind of providing that opportunity to do so. And now, not so much, because I don't understand how he's not. We haven't gotten the official notification yet, like the reports of the MRI, but
I would expect
he's got to be done.
I would expect serious ACL injury. At least.
Yes.
I'll go through my thing real quick because I get a lot of injury updates, and this is not my full-time job. I do have a job, but I will scan real quick just to see if there's anything.
Well, and then I guess while you're scanning, I'll just say like the dynasty conversation has to be had around Rashee Rice now because, before yesterday, you guys, I know I've got him in 2 leagues. I traded for him here in the offseason, and I thought, hey, I've got like a top 12 guy on my roster here, pretty sweet. And now coming back from ACL plus potentially even more damage to the knee, it's going to be a long road back from that recovery. And then you got the suspension on top of it. So once he does get back, he's going to be facing some sort of suspension. So it could be late 2025 until you actually get an opportunity to utilize him.
I do have an update.
Okay.
It says the Chiefs say that wide receiver Rice is still undergoing tests on his knee. Rice won't be available this week. They confirm. So I would say.
Now, there were some people saying, okay, on the optimistic side, not that they're projecting this, but they're saying best case scenario for that type of injury, what they saw on tape was bone bruise and hyperextension. So, which could be like a month to 6 week kind of return. So he could come back this year. I doubt it.
I will be shocked.
Me too.
If you see the video, I will be shocked if that's. I mean, he took Patrick Mahomes' shoulder.
What a brutal way
Yeah.
To go down.
Yeah. Isn't it? Yeah. It's
So you're going to have to figure something out there if you've been relying on Rice. What were some other big injuries this week? Anything major?
I know Alvin Kamara has a rib injury, but he basically played through.
He had a great game. Yeah.
I mean, that's the big one that stands out to me.
Okay.
Right off, you know what I mean?
I guess while we just mentioned Travis Kelce, we might as well just go ahead and have a quick discussion. Like, what do you do with Mark Andrews? That's I think it's 2 weeks in a row now he's laid goose eggs.
Yeah. Not good. Good. I mean, I would say if you have him in Dynasty, sell. See what you can get. I mean, because it doesn't look good.
You drop him in redraft?
I would probably leave him on my bench just in case. Because
I've got a league where I have him, and I don't have room on my bench to just put him there and grab somebody else. It sucks. I'm in a tight spot on that one.
Me personally, who's your other tight end?
I don't have one. I've been playing Mark Andrews. And here's why I don't have a spot is because I've got freaking Anthony Richardson. And I'm like, I can't just drop him either, but I kind of want to.
It's rough.
Because, I mean, I picked up Justin Fields. I'm like, I could just keep streaming him and maybe rotate between him and like Geno and maybe Darnold. I don't think Darnold's out there now, but I don't know. I mean,
Fields, they unlocked something. I mean, they let him kind of throw it around. He looked very much.
Isn't he leading the league in completion percentage or something?
That'd be crazy, which I don't know that, but that would be absolutely bonkers. But I guess for your Mark Andrews thing, if it's redraft and you need to go get a tight end, there's probably guys available, right? I feel like Pat Freiermuth is always available. You know what would be an interesting one that I think you could reach on, and he probably is, I would guess, available in redraft. How do you feel about Tucker Kraft?
You know how I feel about Tucker Kraft. We talked about him before the season over the summer. I said I think he's tight end 1 for the Packers, not Luke Musgrave.
Yeah.
I like Tucker Kraft a lot.
Yeah, let me pull up his numbers.
Yeah, I think he had 9 targets. I think he caught 6 for 50-something and a touchdown. But it's just in the tight end landscape right now in fantasy, it's brutal. Like, it's horrible. If you got guys catching 4 passes for like 40, 50 yards, like that's a top end week for you. You're happy. So Tucker Kraft can do that.
Yep. Dallas Goedert is tight end number 1, I think. And he's number 50 something as far as overall players. It is majorly down.
And that's all off of almost a 200-yard game, which was like, holy crap.
Right.
So, yeah, tight end situation is bad. I like Tucker Kraft. He's actually the guy I got my eye on to pick up if I decide to move on from Mark Andrews. Because I'm still winning in that league, even though I'm getting zeros from Mark Andrews. So I'm like, could I just get 5 extra points a week for my tight end? Well, like something.
In redraft, what's the risk? You know what I mean? Oh, okay. So you drop Mark Andrews, and then he starts putting up Tucker. If Tucker Kraft is going to give you 10 to 15 a game, isn't that what you're expecting from Mark Andrews?
Yeah, I don't know if you can expect 10 to 15, but I mean, I think that's the ceiling.
Right
now, they got a ton of pass catchers, but obviously he is out snapping. I mean, he is the tight end 1. I mean, Luke Musgrave, I think his snap was like 27%, and then Kraft had the rest. Like, he's the guy.
I think you're going to get like 4 catches for 40, 50 yards for most guys, and then it's touchdown dependent after that. You know what I mean? Like, you
get a touchdown, you're like, I win.
Yeah, if you don't, okay, well. But, I mean, I get it. If that's the move that you have to make, like, you can't just keep rolling him out there. I mean, I get it. I know, like, I have Travis Kelce in a dynasty league this year, and I'm like, after a couple of games, I just sat him down because I was like, well, I got Trey McBride. Now Trey McBride got hurt. So then I had to play him this week, and then, obviously he had a more Travis Kelce-esque kind of game. But, yeah, it's tough out here, man. It's very, very tough.
Yeah, it really is. And then, Taysom Hill came back yesterday, rushed in 2 touchdowns, and had like a big week for the tight end position. Now he's out. Yep. Was a rib again? Rib injury. He's out.
Saw chest.
Tucker Kraft was the second. I mean, Pat Freiermuth, if somehow he's on your waivers, I'd grab him because he's getting more involved and more focus from the passing game in Pittsburgh. And like you said, Justin Fields, they've been the first few games. I think it was kind of like an ease in. We want to run the ball. We'll let you throw it a little bit, but his completion percentage is like, I think it's like 75% on the season or something. It's high, and he looks good doing it. And then when he doesn't have anything to throw, he can run.
Correct. Yeah.
And I think that, like you said, unlocked. And I think that unlocking is going to be gradual, but I think you're going to see the reins slowly taken off of him.
The first few weeks, they were like, hey, the way these games are going for us, you can't make a mistake. You can't throw an interception. Correct. Yeah. And so he didn't. And now, this last game, they're kind of in a little bit of a shootout, and they let him kind of just go for it. And I personally did not watch the game, but you look at his numbers and you're like, oh, holy shit. Like he kind of.
I watched some of that game. I was watching a lot of Red Zone yesterday, and I mean, he looked good. He was facilitating the offense well, and hand it to Pittsburgh. They made a move. What was it, 6th-round pick to go get the guy?
Yeah.
Didn't even plan on starting him because they were going to use Russell Wilson, but I just don't see how you go away from Fields now.
Yeah, you can't. I think at this point, I don't know. I don't think Russell, unless injury, God forbid, there's no way.
Was there anybody more disappointing in week 4 than Breece Hall?
Oh, my God. I have him in so many leagues, bro.
10 carries, 4 yards.
Yeah.
What, 3 catches for 14?
So depending on like the scoring and all that, let me pull up because I still have.
You would have been better off grabbing the dominant Mr. Famous Jeremy McNichols on your waiver wire and sticking him in your starting lineup.
Yep.
Than you would have been Breece Hall.
Breece Hall, 10 carries, 4 yards, 2 catches on 5 targets for 14 yards. He gave me 3.8 points in a PPR league.
Darway Goombawale would have been a better pickup than Breece Hall, who was probably a top 5 pick in your draft.
Who's the 4th running back on the depth chart for Houston?
Yes. Yep. Jerome Ford had a great day yesterday over Breece Hall. Let's see who else in here. Tyler Algier, the backup to Bijan Robinson, had a better day than both of them.
What about Chase Brown? Chase Brown. I thought so. Chase Brown was a guy I was kind of backed off of because I was like, well, it looks like it's Zach Moss. You know what I mean? And very, very nice game from him. I believe, what do we got? 80 rush yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 catches for 12 yards.
I think that's still going to be like split, but I think anyone who bailed early bailed too soon. And
correct.
I was never really on the side of like get out. It was like if you have to drop him to get somebody, I get it. Like you can do that, but don't just drop him because you're mad.
In Dynasty, you just let him sit. Let him sit.
Yes, you absolutely do. I mean, DeAndre Swift popped out yesterday.
Where'd that come from?
Well, so my hunch is all week you heard the coaching staff saying we're going to feature Roschon in this game.
Yeah,
and that was probably a little bit true, but it seems like maybe they were using it more as like a tactic to tell DeAndre Swift, like, get your shit together, or we are going to go a different direction. But it worked. If that's what they were trying to do, it worked. He popped off 16 for 93 and a touchdown, caught 7 for 72 yards, like just monster day.
Yep.
Derrick Henry, good Lord, Derrick Henry.
Gosh.
The Ravens getting Derrick Henry is probably going to go down as the most unfair thing in recent memory.
Yep.
Kind of like when the 49ers got CMC.
Yeah.
Like, that's not fair.
All you heard was, we want him for the postseason, so we're going to like give him like 10 touches. What did he carry the ball?
Let's see.
24 times?
Week 1, it was 13. So it was like, okay, they're not going to overload him. Week 2, 18. Okay, a little heavier.
Yeah.
Week 3, 25.
Oh, boy.
Week 4, 24.
Oh, boy.
For 199 and a tutty.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. What was it, 89 or something? 80?
The one
touchdown run?
Yeah. It was right off the bat, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Immediately.
I mean, you got it was so funny watching the play if you haven't seen it, because you've got 6'5" or whatever he is, 250-pound Derrick Henry just
trucking
down the field, down the seam, and then you've got these tiny little cornerbacks that are probably like 4'3" guys just busting their ass trying to get to him. They can't catch him.
Yep. He's ageless, bro.
Oh my gosh.
I was one of those people, the people that were like, I'm getting out on
I know. I didn't draft him anywhere. I was like, I'll let somebody else do it.
I did draft him in a redraft league, and I have Lamar Jackson too, so I'm just like, well, as long as this goes good, this goes good.
Yeah, that's true.
Big news, Dog Pack. We are thrilled to announce we have a partnership now with BetStamp and Sign Up Expert, opening up an incredible opportunity for you to join some of our favorite sports books and get the best odds and new user offers this NFL season. Head over to our dedicated page at signupexpert.com/dogs, DAWGS, to explore a whole selection of sports books tailored to your region, each with unique offerings for you. If you guys are ready to take your sports betting to the next level this NFL season, head over to signupexpert.com/dogs, DAWGS, and check out the new user offers and the best odds on all the sports books. That's signupexpert.com/dogs.
Jordan Mason, another guy that I feel so bad for all the 101ers out there who took CMC because just got the alert today.
Yeah.
Achilles tendonitis.
Both legs.
Oh
Wow,
my gosh.
yeah.
So all the reports we were getting last week was, he went to Germany to see an Achilles specialist or something. So basically they can issue higher doses of treatment over there than what we're allowed to do in the US. So that's why he went to Germany to do all that. And then they were saying, okay, there's going to be like a ramp up period. It looks like he's
early November. Yeah.
He's going to be okay. We're going to get him back, start working on this rehab and all this kind of stuff. And then the weekend goes by, boom, Monday. Yeah, he just happens to have Achilles tendonitis in both legs.
Yeah, what is it, contagious? What happened? I don't understand what happened.
It's spread!
This is crazy. This is insane. Man. I fortunately did not have a 101 pick in a redraft, or I didn't do any dynasty startups this year. All my dynasties are we've been rolling for some years now, but I have him. I've got him in the league, and he's going to take up an IR spot probably.
Yeah.
I would say a long time.
Is that your dynasty league you're talking about, the one we're in?
Yes.
So this is not a dynasty advice piece, but in redraft, and I talked about Jordan Mason, I think it was last week or the week before, whenever it was. If you drafted CMC and you did not get and do not have Jordan Mason, you need to go get him, because I don't think you're getting CMC back this year. If you're in redraft and you're like 2-2 or whatever, 3-1 or whatever the situation might be, if you're doing okay in your league and you're managing, you got to go try to get him, because I think he's going to be like a borderline RB1 rest of the season.
Yeah. The crazy thing is, I think that you could. Now, I've tried to offer up CMC in some dynasty leagues just because I'm very deep at running back. I could use some depth at quarterback, maybe at receiver. Do you try to just offer him up to the Jordan Mason? If I'm Jordan Mason owner, I'm like, yeah, no thanks, bro. Yeah, you're not wasting my IR spot. But the idea of the upside, like CMC healthy, it's a league winner. I mean, he can get you anywhere from 20 to 40, and I feel like it's just light work for that dude.
It's true. It's something I've gone back and forth. Just because I've got Jordan Mason in a lot of spots. Now, redraft, like the places where I have Jordan Mason, I'm not even thinking about CMC. I'm like,
absolutely not.
You wasted your one. I hate saying you wasted your 101.
Yeah, you were misled.
He is definitely. Yeah, you were misled. Not by us or not by any fantasy analyst. You were misled by the freaking 49ers on this. They were not upfront and forthright about it all. But so he's definitely got that league winner vibe already. Another guy that I think I don't know what to do with, because I've got him in a lot of spots. Okay. And the thought process behind the way I drafted these two guys, was sound. But now I'm in a bit of a pickle with my expectation level. And it's Chuba Hubbard and Jonathan Brooks, who's eligible to come off PUP this week and start practicing again.
Okay.
Chuba Hubbard has been awesome.
Sure.
Outside of week 1 where it was bad. Mm-hmm. And then he got, week 2 was a big step forward. And then they moved to Andy Dalton. I was like, oh, this is a real offense. They can actually move the ball. And Chuba Hubbard's been a focal point of it.
Yeah.
And so now I'm like, okay, so I've got Chuba, but I've got everywhere I have Chuba, I've got Jonathan Brooks on my IR spot.
Okay.
So that means that once he comes off the IR, I have to move him up into my bench. So I got to take up 2 spots to one backfield. And I don't know how this is going to, how do they move off of Chuba at this point?
I mean, so I was able to stash him in some leagues, you know what I mean, where you pick him up and you just let him sit. You're just waiting.
Who, Brooks?
Yeah, the window's open now. I'm with you, especially with like Dalton is completely like read.
Oh yeah,
like their offense is click.
Flacco with the Browns.
Yes, buy in. You know what I mean? If like Deontay Johnson, I wouldn't think that he would be available, but like if you can get a hold of anybody right now, as far as receivers, running backs, maybe not Miles Sanders, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's okay.
But like even Xavier Legette is going crazy.
Yes.
Like I think it's going to be a wait and see thing. The upside with Brooks is crazy. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like where you probably got him at, very low risk. So I never expected Chuba to really be that guy. So you were ahead on that one. I kind of was like, this offense is going to
The way
suck.
he ended the season last year, he ended on a tear.
Yeah. Yep. So for me, I'm like sitting there and I've got like guys like Javonte Williams and like, I got some like Bucky Irvings and stuff like that where I'm like, all right, like that's where it's going to be a tough decision. Because obviously when he comes back, you're not going to see the full, I think it'll be an ease thing, like a transition, if he even gets the opportunity to take that, number one spot away. If Chuba keeps playing like this, I don't know how you shut him down. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. And then
drop somebody else, man.
Then if it becomes like a split situation, now is either one of them providing what you really need in your lineup?
Fair.
And it's
yeah.
So we'll see. It's a situation to monitor. I don't have any good advice on that one yet. I'm still kind of feeling it out, but I do think it's going to be a while. Brooks coming back from that ACL that was in November last year. Once he starts practicing again, we talked about this with Nick Chubb, who's also going to start practicing soon. Once they practice, it's a 5-week window to even be activated. So there could be a long ramp up period. Chuba could still be very good for a few more weeks. So
absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, if you got him, I guess you're just going to roll with it.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. Were there any like other running back situations you want to talk about? I did see a stat. I know obviously the Dallas Cowboys running game is almost non-existent. It's terrible. Okay. But Rico Dowdle had the touchdown pass against the Giants on Thursday night. So he ended up the week okay, like 13 fantasy points or whatever. But I did see a stat that his snap share in the backfield started, I think in week 1, he was like 34% of the running back snaps.
Okay.
And now like over the first month of the season in week 4, he's up to like 62% of the running back snaps. So they are phasing out Ezekiel Elliott. So Rico Dowdle has not had a lot of fantasy production to speak of so far this year. But if he's been dropped, if he's on your waivers, if you got running back injuries, whatever, he's a guy that if he's available, you got to add him. Because at some point, Dallas is going to be able to run the ball, I would think, against certain defenses. So I think Rico could be a viable start in certain situations.
Sure. Go get Tank Bigsby. I don't think he's available, but
Tank Bigsby is
what, 7 for 90?
So his situation just drives me mad. Last year, he comes in as a rookie. They were all like, oh, yeah, we want to get ETN a lighter workload and use Bigsby. And then he came in and like sucked. Like he was just terrible, fumbling and couldn't catch. I think the only target he had, he tipped up for an interception or something. Like the dude was awful. Didn't get any run. Same narrative this offseason. Oh, we want to get him more run, blah, 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 yada, yada. First week he comes out and he has the same amount of carries as ETN and like doubles his production almost. Yeah.
Yep.
And then week 2 gets hurt. Week 3 he's coming back from the injury. And it's like, all right, are we just back to ETN gets everything? And then yesterday, I mean, I guess I wasn't watching that game, so I don't know what the snap share was like before the injury, but ETN got hurt. He had a shoulder injury.
That's what
But when Tank Bigsby's been healthy so far this year, he's been more productive. And people I listen to say he just looks like he's got more, I guess, more juice, more electricity than ETN, which is interesting.
That's very fair.
If you have ETN, you need to make sure if Bigsby's available, you've got to waiver claim him this week.
Yes. I would be surprised if he was, but, depends on the bench size.
And the other one we've been talking about for like 2 weeks now, if Bucky Irving's somehow available, you have got to get him. I doubt it.
I doubt he is, but if he is, get on it.
Yes. I'm trying to see because I think this can tell me. Okay, so right now in Sleeper anyway, Bucky is rostered in 95% of leagues. So you're probably not getting him now. But this definitely looks like a situation where we've been saying it before long. The scales are going to tip, and I think he's going to be the lead back. It might not be like a 70% thing, but it could be more like a 55-45. And what we've seen from Bucky Irving, that's enough to get the job done.
And that offense right now,
they're humming.
Yep, things are going well. I guess if there was some other waiver guys that you could look at that might be available, Dontavian Wicks.
Yes.
Jaden Reed's probably a taken up in every league, but Wicks might be available. Another guy that I've like been kind of picking up, and I just don't know. It's an Anthony Richardson situation. I like Josh Downs a lot.
I do too. Yeah.
Anthony Richardson, I think as long as he's out there, who knows what you're going to get. You saw Pittman finally kind of pop. Josh Downs pops, so I guess monitor that situation, and Richardson, they're saying he's not going to miss any time, but
one of the things with Richardson that's really bugging me about him, because I got him in a couple spots, coming out of the draft, it was, he's this big athletic freak. He's 6'5", 240 or whatever, like big, thick guy. He's got this elite speed and everything. He can take the pounding. He's not one of these little Bryce Young type of, God, blah, you don't have to worry about the injuries. He's been hurt more than freaking anybody.
Yep.
It's like he barely he gets hit one time and he's done. And it's like, geez, man, this guy is fragile.
I know it's messed up, but I think for like fantasy wise, if Flacco goes in and starts, we know this Flacco's going to go in there and he's going to throw the ball all over the place. Doesn't matter if you're double covered or if there's, two safeties. He doesn't give a shit. He's just throwing it in there.
That's right.
He'll throw some picks and stuff. But I think that if Flacco is playing, you start whether it's Pittman or, obviously Jonathan Taylor. I feel like it doesn't matter who's back there. He's going to get his.
But he's hurt now.
Yeah, I did. They said they dodged a bullet, though.
Oh, so it's not high ankle?
I saw, let me pull this up real quick because I saw that they.
Well, even whatever Justin reads here, still, you guys, on your waivers, and I'm sure he's there, you need to be looking at Trey Sermon.
Yeah.
Because we saw it with Zach Moss last year, and Trey Sermon, he outright won that RB2 job handily in the offseason and training camp. So, if Jonathan Taylor misses any time or he's limited in his role, Trey Sermon could be a sneaky spot start for your lineups. Do you have it?
Yes. So, Colt Star running back Jonathan Taylor was diagnosed with a high ankle sprain. They said it's pretty mild. Indy will get the full report tomorrow, but one source said he's okay.
Okay, so usually high ankles are going to be what do they say, like 4 to 6 weeks? So a mild one, he's probably not going to play this week, and if he does, he will be limited. So Trey Sermon, if you guys need I got a last minute flex situation or my RBs are hurt, he could start your RB2 spot this week and be okay for your
probably cash.
Yeah, because they're playing Jacksonville, so I think whoever's running the ball is probably going to be okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
Speaking of Jacksonville, if we switch over to wide receivers real quick, Brian Thomas Jr. just continues to ascend, and I think this kid's going to be a stud.
Yeah.
He's playing on a terrible offense right now, terrible team, but the first 2 weeks, four targets. Last 2 weeks, 9 targets both games. He's caught 5 and 6. Yesterday, he had 86 and a touchdown. I think these are just okay games for him. Mm-hmm. I think there are big games coming.
You would think eventually that offense would kind of figure it out because Christian Kirk's another guy. Christian Kirk finally had an okay game, a game where you're I think the league that I had him, it was 11 or 12 points, and I was like, oh, holy shit, okay, well, I didn't waste a pick there with that one, but I would think eventually they would figure it out a little bit and at least throw the ball around. They're going to be behind a lot.
Yeah. It's not a good team. And honestly, Doug Peterson right now making it through the season, I don't think it's very likely.
Right. That's fair. Just crazy. Yeah.
So, and I'll tell you what, I don't know the situation or, what they're going to rule with Anthony Richardson. But if Joe Flacco starts against the Jaguars, I think Indy blows them out.
Yeah.
Blows them out.
For sure. And I'm certain everybody.
Yeah. I'll start. Except for Mitchell. Yeah. Probably not playing him yet.
Yeah. Or Alec Pierce,
Yeah.
Give me Josh Downs, you give me Pittman.
Alec Pierce is like a prayer play.
Yeah.
You put him in, you go, please catch that one big.
And Downs is hurt? Yeah, okay. Then I feel good about it.
I do like Josh Downs.
Me too.
This episode is brought to you by Bodden Sports. Bodden Sports is your one-stop shop for all your athletic gear. Bodden started out perfecting and manufacturing the best balls in the business. Yeah, if that sounded dirty, that's more about your mind than my words. But hey, it's true. Baseballs, softballs, footballs, basketballs, volleyballs, soccer balls, you name it, and Bodden has engineered the highest standard sports balls available. And now they offer more than just sports balls. If you got kids playing baseball or softball, Baden has batting gloves and bats to go along with both game balls and training balls. If you're into basketball, Baden makes basketball specifically for indoor or outdoor use. Heck, Baden even has all the equipment you need for pickleball, which is one sport that I hear everyone is playing and yet I still never have. And I need to fix that soon. But don't miss the backyard games section of Baden's website where you can order everything you need for this upcoming outdoor season. Pool balls, backyard volleyball nets, croquet, bocce, horseshoes, cornhole, and more. Right now, you can get 10% off your entire order at Baden Sports, BADEN sports.com/dogs, DAWGS, and use promo code DOGS when you check out. That's 10% off all the top quality sporting gear you need this season. BadenSports.com/dogs.
This doesn't matter for fantasy because you didn't want anybody in this game, but what about the Broncos beating the Jets 10-9?
Yeah.
In New York.
Yeah.
Well, in New Jersey, I guess.
I saw a crazy, and I don't know, maybe I am just imagining this. I saw Bo Nix was 12 of 24 or something crazy for 60 yards and a touchdown, and Courtland Sutton had 4 catches for 60 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah,
Is that accurate?
That's right.
Okay.
All the counting, I think there was a pass or two that went behind the line.
Okay.
Because at one point, Bo Nix was -5 yards.
Okay. I
but
saw that.
All of the counting positive passing yards were to Courtland Sutton. All 60 of them. He won a game with 60 yards.
That's wild. Yeah.
Now, that game, if you didn't watch, weather was terrible.
Right.
Absolutely terrible. I guess we could have this conversation. What are you doing with Garrett Wilson? I mean, and he played against Patrick Surtain yesterday, who has shut down everybody.
Yeah. He made Mike Evans look like just whatever. And then obviously Mike Evans is very good.
Yeah, it's like Mike Evans, you should retire after the game against Surtain.
I'm a big fan of Garrett Wilson. It hasn't been great, right? It hasn't been great at all.
And the thing is, if you draft him and redraft, you spent either a back end first or a top second round pick on him.
Yeah. And at this point, you can't just bail out. I feel like you just have to hold. You can't drop him.
No, you can't drop him. I just don't know what kind of trade value you get in redraft because
I'm not
trading for him.
Not what people are going to want for him.
Mm.
If I'm buying it, I'm buying because it's low, because things are low right now. I'm calling because, hey, he's playing down. Maybe I can just kind of finesse my way into something nice.
I've seen him listed as a buy low candidate for 3 weeks now on all the little fantasy sites and stuff. Yeah. And it's okay. But I mean, for me, one of the big problems is the Jets offense in general.
Yeah, it's fair.
Slow pace of play.
Yeah. There's frustration already.
Yeah.
It's very early on. You already have Rodgers and Salah kind of clashing. And
now, I mean, will Garrett Wilson have some really big games this year? I think so.
Sure.
I think he's going to have some, over 100 games, probably a couple, maybe at least 1-2 touchdown game. It's going to happen.
I would say if there was a guy, and it's kind of, he had a down game, but Allen Lazard would be a guy that I would play in a deep flex kind of, where you have 2-3 flex spots you got to fill up. Even Mike Williams, I thought had a decent game. I thought he had maybe 4 for 60 or something like that. Maybe I'm making these numbers up, but
Mike Williams had 4 for 67.
Okay.
Yep.
I mean,
you got it.
In a deep flex, obviously in a dynasty, he's probably not available. People have been holding him forever, but
and Lazard was 5 for 58 on 8 targets.
Okay. Yeah.
Lazard's been definitely serviceable this year.
And he was a guy you could pick up in deep dynasty.
Yeah.
Nobody was on Lazard. So, I mean, if you have Garrett Wilson, I don't think that you're not going to get what you want back on that.
No. You just have to lower your expectations. If you're trying to sell, you just have to lower your expectations. You got to lower your cost. Your product is not very good right now.
I mean, I guess what would be a name that you would offer up for Garrett Wilson?
Oh, if I wanted to go get him?
Yeah.
Ew.
I know, right?
The problem is all my teams, I have very good wide receivers. I'm
I don't want him. Yeah.
I don't want him. I don't need him.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good one. I'll have to think about that though. But I guess we could throw this other guy's name in there. But what about Brandon Ayuk? Soup's disappointing so far this year. I mean, this guy.
What did he do yesterday?
Yesterday he did 5 targets, a whopping 2 catches for 48 yards, and actually it was 1 catch for 48, I believe, and the other one went for 0, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So far this year, he has been targeted 5, 10, 5. So 20 25 targets, and he's caught 2, 4, 5 to 13. And he has not gone over 50 yards in any game yet. 8 fantasy points is his high.
With Debo, like, you know what I mean? Like, if there was an opportunity to get right, that was it. I saw Kittle did have a nice touchdown, so, you know, but yikes. And where you drafted him at?
Yeah.
Like, that's, I think, where it hurts. Like, you're like, man.
Another guy, let's tie in some Browns talk.
Oh, no.
How are we doing with Amari Cooper?
I don't know.
You can't play him.
No.
Can you? I mean, the Browns can't even play him.
I would say, I don't know this for sure, but I have a feeling that potentially he's maybe on the move, you know, down the road. I would say, like, I'm not dropping him. I will say this, if you're going to play him when he's at home. Because when he's on the road, not so great.
Well, and that's what sucks, because this week 5, they've got Washington, who's secondary. Like, you could throw all over them, but I mean,
do you trust it?
No, are you kidding me?
I don't know. Here's the thing.
If I got Jerry Jeudy, I'll play him.
Yeah, I'd play him in like my flex, but like I don't think you're anybody in Brown's offense you're like feel great about on a week to week basis. Like, no, thanks.
No, Murray Cooper definitely one of my biggest whiffs in fantasy this year, because I took him in a lot of spots because he was going later, and I'm like, dude, I got the number 1 receiver. He was great last year. Not so much. Super disappointing. Yeah, I don't know. Anybody else you want to talk about? We haven't talked really any quarterbacks or anything. Sam Darnold, dude.
Yeah, I traded him in Dynasty.
Kevin O'Connell, one of the best coaches, offensive minds in this league, and then pairing him with Brian Flores on the defensive side right now is just not fair.
Oh, it's a complete. We've been fans of Flores. Even when he was with Pittsburgh, we were like, man, you know, like this guy, he's just like a no nonsense defensive guy. But then they were a team that like you looked at them on paper and you're like, they got some guys, you know what I mean? Like they lost some things, but obviously like we expected them to be kind of like middle of the road in that division. That's a tough division. Yeah, they're making 4-0 look pretty easy. Yeah,
I mean, what were they up 28-0 or 28-7? I know it was at least 28-7 at one point in the first half.
Beating the brakes off.
You know, then you start to go into your prevent defenses and you're kind of more conservative offense. I mean, of course, the Packers have great weapons, great quarterbacks. So they made a comeback and a run at it at the end there. But for the majority of that game, Minnesota just blew them out of the park. If Justin Fields is still on your waivers and you need help at quarterback,
oh my goodness,
you can play him.
Yes,
he's going to be fine. Baker Mayfield, I mean, so far,
balling out.
He really is. I mean, he's just, yeah, and he's got great weapons to do it with. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
two elite receivers, and then nice pieces behind that. Like Trey Palmer's still nice.
Yep.
Two really, it looks like running backs that can handle it. You know, Rashad White's a nice, PPR guy. Bucky Irving looks like you can just throw him in. You're okay. Yep. Throw him in the flex.
Spot starters for this week. If you're going to stream, keep an eye on we already talked about the Colts situation with Anthony Richardson if he does not play. And if you're in a super flex league, grab Joe Flacco, throw him into your lineup because he is going to carve up Jacksonville.
Yep.
He threw it all over the Steelers, and they're a great defense.
Yes.
It's going to be a field day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this could be the Doug Peterson gets fired game when they go 0-5.
Sure.
Trying to see here. Jalen Hurts, the dude's just kind of rocky
doesn't
right
look good, man.
But he doesn't have his weapons. I get that.
That's fair, yeah. That whole team's kind of dysfunctional.
It is.
You're hearing just a lot of noise coming out of Philly.
Yeah, it's not what you were hoping for. Brock Purdy's kind of been up and down this year as far as fantasy goes and stuff. It's just, I guess the 49ers have sort of been up and down. They've lost a couple. They won a couple. They kind of lost that identity with CMC.
I feel like that with Detroit. Detroit's another one where
now we're recording this on Monday, so we don't know what happens yet.
It's about to happen. But yeah. Yeesh.
Yeah, definitely.
I think I feel good about a guy. I start him, he does nothing. Obviously, you're starting Sun God like every game, but like he's been kind of up and down. Jared Goff's been kind of up and down. Jameson Williams is either 20 or 1. You don't know what you're going to get. It's just
at quarterback. If you invested trying to remember where he was going, like a 4th round pick or whatever it was, 3rd, 4th round pick in Patrick Mahomes, you're probably streaming the quarterback position, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say so. We joked around about it. Me and you I've got him in Dynasty, and I'm like, he's available. And I never would have said that. But now, available,
see,
there comes parentheses with available. Because for me, I'm like, yeah, brother, you have a quarterback for 10 years. I'm going to need some things.
A quarterback for 10 years, but even just redraft focus too, for whatever.
If it's one QB,
12 points a game, it's I can stream it.
Yeah.
So in redraft, because I know we do dog pack leagues.
Sure.
Andrew Jackson, our boy, is in my league, and he put Patrick Mahomes on the trade block. I didn't even look at it.
No.
Didn't even look at it because I got Jaden Daniels.
This is a guy, and I've been rolling with this dude for a long time. Gino.
Dude, that offense
to the moon,
looks
bro.
good.
Yeah, and the defense looks good. They're just, I think,
it's a good team.
A good team.
That's a team I want pieces of, for sure. I've got DK in a couple spots. I got JSN.
Kenneth Walker's
Gino.
been out, but I mean, you see, so Kenneth Walker, when he's in, balling. Oh, he goes out, Zach Charbonnet comes in, balling. It just...
Yeah. Now against Detroit, it'll be interesting to see what happens because they very shut down the run. You can pass on them.
Yes.
That's why I've got the passing options in my lineups.
Me too.
For tonight.
Give me some DK.
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure. I think Derek Carr pumpkined.
Yeah.
Derek Carr's always like that.
Yeah, that team might have. I mean,
maybe. It was like a flash for the first couple of weeks, and then it was back to earth.
There's people 2 weeks ago going, I don't see anybody messing with this team. They might. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, now
it's a little early, Obviously, blowing out Dallas helps, but,
Right. Yeah. Josh Allen had a down week. They just got destroyed by Baltimore.
That was tough.
I guess one of the last things how good is Jaden Daniels?
Very good.
We could talk, NFL and fantasy. Fantasy.
Very good.
I think he's top 5 quarterback probably this year.
Yeah. I'm in a 3 keeper, and I have him and Josh Allen as my quarterbacks in a super flex. And at the end of the year, I'm going to have serious thoughts about, am I dropping Breece Hall? Am I dropping Jamar Chase? I don't know. You know what I mean? Because
that's tough, man.
Jaden Daniels is.
You want to keep both of them. I get it.
Yeah. But my goodness, right now and he's fun to watch. I watch him and I'm like, man, this is a fun offense. You never know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? And he can kill you in just so many different ways. He can throw the ball. I saw a crazy stat. Does he have more first downs than he has incompletions this year or something crazy like that? There's some wild stat.
Yeah, what was that stat? You're right. It was,
I thought it was something like that. He's converted for more first downs than he has incompletions over 3 or 4 games. And it's my goodness.
Or maybe it was he's led more scoring drives than he has incompletions.
Okay.
I think that's what it is.
That's fair. Somebody said, too, they haven't punted since, maybe that was going into this game, but they hadn't punted since, the first quarter, second quarter of the first game. And I'm just like, oh, my God. And the rushing, we said the rushing was there. We said he was Lamar light, he's looking like Jaden Daniels. You know what I mean? Make a name for yourself, dude. He looks good if you bought in on him. Obviously, Dynasty, we're talking second, third pick overall, depending on how things shake out and what people need. But
the thing with him too, we talk about Lamar, the dude can throw.
Mm-hmm.
That's been the thing with Lamar. The passing game in Baltimore, it's never been anything special with Lamar because he's just not a prolific passer. He can get the job done.
Yeah.
But
he's gotten better.
It's not what you want to lean on.
Right.
With Jaden Daniels, his completion percentage is so high. And those throws he made against Cincinnati, the last one to win it, put him up with Terry.
Terry, it was
just
perfect.
Fading back, getting pressure, getting hit, and he threw a perfect spot. It was a hell of a catch.
Yeah.
But the throw had to be right where it had to be. And it's this is a rookie in his 4th game.
Yep.
It's just unreal. So
they're going to surprise some people. Everybody thought they were going to be.
Yeah. And if you've got your Commanders, load them up. If you've got Brian Robinson Jr., play him with so much confidence this week against the Browns because We talked about it on the show. The Raiders just put up 152 rushing yards against the Browns. The Raiders were averaging 51 a game coming into that. So there are yards to be had on the ground. Go get, make sure that Robinson's locked and loaded. And Eckler,
who knows?
McNichols, who knows? Yeah. It could be a feeding frenzy for this Washington offense. The Browns defense is not what it was last year. So
yeah, it's tough.
You can definitely play your players against them.
With no fear.
So, all right. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for this week's episode, guys. We appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you guys, if you don't mind, share this around, share it with your friends or whatever. I mean, we're just trying to sit here, have a good time, talking about
fantasy. Just two bros hanging out, talking fantasy.
That's right. I always love listening to fantasy conversations. So
absolutely.
Hopefully you guys like this and continue to watch. Please like, subscribe on YouTube, and follow us on the socials. And we'll be back next week. Everybody have a great weekend of fantasy. I hope you guys win your weeks. And if we give you any advice that was bad, don't tell us. Oh, and make sure you guys drop everything in the comments too, like questions and trades and stuff. We love looking at it and then helping you guys out. And like I posted on Twitter the other day, if anybody, including us, gave you the advice to play Breece Hall last week, never take their advice again.
I'm starting them every year.
I know. All right, guys, we'll catch you in the next one.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dawgs Fantasy Football Podcast. Make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube and follow the podcast on social media at the Dawgs Fantasy.
This episode is brought to you by Danger Coffee. We talk about how Danger Coffee is made free from mold toxins that are in 45% of the world's coffee, but that's not all that Danger Coffee has to offer. Mineral and nutrient deficiencies are a big deal. They make you feel sick, tired, stressed, and they can give you brain fog. These deficiencies negatively affect your immune system, your digestion, sleep, metabolism. Have you ever wondered why you get an initial burst from your coffee, but then you get that little crash not long after? Danger Coffee's patent-pending process remineralizes your body with more than 50 trace minerals and electrolytes, leaving you more energized, engaged, powerful. These micronutrients enter the cells to boost performance. They bind to toxins to provide detoxification support. I know that sounds like a lot, but the bottom line, guys, is minerals matter, and most of us really don't get enough of them on a daily basis. Danger Coffee delivers micronutrients, plus it gives you access to the minerals you already have. Head to dangercoffee.com, use our code DAWGS, DAWGS, for 10% off your order. And that code can be used over and over. So you get 10% off every order you make using code DAWGS. It's time to start every day off with a cup of coffee that gets you going and actually keeps you going. Dangercoffee.com, code DAWGS.